Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a very chilly Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg. We are almost at the halfway point of the season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. 5 races down, 6 to go, and halfway through this race we will be at the halfway point. And the man that you're riding on board with, Larry Tenvoorde, leads the points. It looked like he was going to walk the championship at the beginning of this year, but things are starting to come unravelled, and he really does have memories of 2019 in his mind, because he was leading the championship at the halfway point then as well. But the man who really is on a mission at the moment is yesterday's winner, Dylan Pereira. And Dylan Pereira has closed in and is just a handful of points behind Larry Tenvoorde. 6 to be precise is the number of points that he is behind Larry Tenvoorde in the points championship. He's closing it pretty well every race at the moment, and he starts in front of him for this, the second of 3 races this weekend here at the Red Bull Ring. We're on the formation lap at the moment, and it's the first of 2 formation laps. The near freezing temperatures here really proving to be quite an issue, and the drivers requiring 2 laps just to get a bit more heat into the tyres and into the brakes before we make that clutch start. So we had a race yesterday. It was won by Dylan Pereira. Larry Tenvoorde was in second. He led the way, but Dylan Pereira reeled him in and got past him just like he did at Sachsenring. And Lauren Heinrich, very impressive, coming through to 3rd place for T3 HRT Motorsport yesterday. And there we ride on board with him again, because he is the pole sitter for this race. So Lauren Heinrich, with all that pressure on his shoulders, the talent pool driver and the rookie, has been very impressive here at this, one of the faster tracks on the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany calendar. So there's Dylan Pereira, the driver who is closing in on that championship. He got his first win in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany at Sachsenring 3 weeks ago. He followed it up with another win at Sachsenring, and then his 3rd win was yesterday in race 1. Can he do it again from the outside front row, or will Lauren Heinrich be the first man into turn 1? And what about Larry Tenvoorde? Another driver worth mentioning is the number 77 of Leon Kohler. He started on pole position yesterday, but had a most awful start. He got bogged down on the grid, almost got collected by several cars, somehow got away with it, and came back a real charge to finish in 5th place, and very impressive it was too. Let's have a look at our starting grid for race 2, Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. As we mentioned, Lauren Heinrich on pole position for T3 HRT Motorsport alongside Dylan Pereira, Larry Tenvoorde and Julian Hanses lined up behind, then Rudy Van Buren and Leon Kohler, yesterday's pole sitter, Joey Mawson and Jesse Van Kuijk on row 4, ahead of Jukka Honkavori and Diego Bertinelli on row 5. Dan Van Kuijk and Carlos Rivas on row 6, ahead of Stefan Raykopf and Felix Neuhofer. And then Lucas Ertl, who's sitting in for Tony Wolff, is next up ahead, alongside Kay Van Berlo, Matthias Jeserik and Lucas Granevelt, with Georgi Donchev bringing up the rear. Our leading Pro-Am driver is Carlos Rivas, and you saw that he's starting ahead of Stefan Raykopf, who is his nearest challenger, and our leading rookie is our pole sitter, Lauren Heinrich. Julian Hanses leads the rookie standings at the moment by 11 points, but with Lauren Heinrich on pole position, if he can hold that kind of lead to the end of this race, then he will close up on the rookie championship, and Julian Hanses will see him closing in on him. The Pro-Am Championship has Carlos Rivas at the top, with Matthias Jeserik 31 points behind and Stefan Raykopf in 3rd. So the second of the formation laps are almost done. The opportunity for the drivers to get heat into those tyres, and very shortly we will be racing. The other big issue of this weekend has been track limits, and it always is an issue here at the Red Bull Ring, but more so this year, particularly with the temperatures as they are, and so many drivers having lap times removed in qualifying and incurring the wrath of the stewards for exceeding track limits. The main areas seem to be turns 1, 9 and 10, and any drivers who are exceeding track limits, initially they'll get a warning, but we have seen in other classes drive-through penalties and other penalties awarded for exceeding track limits. So as we ride on board with Carlos Rivas as he comes into his grid position, and very, very shortly it will be time to go racing. It's the first of 2 races here today at the Red Bull Ring. We'll have another race from Porsche Carrera Cup Germany a little bit later on this afternoon. The weather is due to stay dry, but very, very cold. We have indication from the back of the grid that all is good. We're going to be waiting for those 5 red lights to go off, and we are racing. And it's Dylan Pereira who makes a very good start. Lauren Heinrich moving across to try and close him off, and Larry Tenforder ducking in behind Dylan Pereira. And it's Pereira who leads into turn 1. That outside front row start being the position that he needed to get into turn 1 first. And it's Dylan Pereira who leads the way. Lauren Heinrich coming back at him though as they head round turn 2, up the hill in towards turn 3. Lauren Heinrich on the outside. Can he make it stick on the outside? Surely not. Larry Tenforder looking to take advantage, but Lauren Heinrich keeping the power on as he races alongside Dylan Pereira. Brilliant driving here from Lauren Heinrich, the young rookie alongside Dylan Pereira. In towards turns 4 they come under heavy braking. Pereira's going to have the inside line. Heinrich will have to slot back in. Almost made it stick. He switches back, looks to the inside, and we've got a spinner in the middle of the track. The number 81 of Julian Hanses somehow avoided by the rest of the field. Still the lead battle continues, and again Heinrich is coming back on the outside of Dylan Pereira. What great driving, but he goes wide onto the gravel, keeps it on though. Larry Tenforder taking advantage of that wide moment, trying to get on the inside. Still Heinrich battling for all he's worth to hold on to second place. Now with Larry Tenforder alongside, and Leon Kohler rushing to join the party as well. What a battle for the first 4 riding on board with Lauren Heinrich. Great driving from him, but Larry Tenforder sneaks through into second place, and Heinrich so nearly got past Dylan Pereira in that opening lap. Brilliant driving. So it's Dylan Pereira who leads the way, Larry Tenforder in second, and Lauren Heinrich with teammate Leon Kohler just behind. So it's a T3 HRT Motorsport 3 and 4, and Rudy Van Buren also rushing to join that queue. We're having another look at the spin there for the number 81 car, and you can see Diego Bertinelli taking to the gravel to get past, as does the number 14 car of Yuka Honkavori as well, but they all survive. And here we go again into turn 3. There's our leader, Dylan Pereira. Larry Tenforder looking to get some revenge on yesterday, and due to Pereira, what Pereira did to him, because he could see that championship lead slipping away race by race, and he really needs to get past Pereira and undo some of the damage. Here come the rest of the cars. And we're riding on board with Stefan Raykopf, and he is in P16 at the moment, and challenging Matthias Jeserik. And ahead of him is Carlos Rivas, and he's his main championship contender in the Pro-Am Championship. And there's the number 81 car after that spin, got all the work to do again from the back of the grid. Good to welcome Lucas Grunewald here. He wasn't at Sachsenring, but good to see him here at the Red Bull Ring, and rejoining the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. You can see the cars coming wide out of turn 9, and that has been an area that the stewards have been watching. The incident that saw the number 81 car spin of Julian Hanses is under investigation, and the stewards believe that Joey Mawson was involved in that, and they are looking into that, and we will see whether there are any penalties to be handed out. But the number 81 car of Julian Hanses has got a lot of work to do from back there. He's currently showing in 17th position. And he will have the bit between his teeth as we head up towards turn 3. And lock up of the brakes going into the corner. Everybody makes it around. and trying to keep heat in those tyres. You can see the snow on the mountaintops behind. It really is a chilly old day here at the Red Bull Ring. And there is the number 81 in the wars yet again, and a bit of contact, and that looked like Van Koyk also going wide as well, and you can see that little bit of contact and across the curbing, and everybody survives to carry on racing. So there's Dan Van Koyk in the number 16 car, and he has got K Van Baerlo for company just behind, and Felix Neuhofer in the very bright yellow car behind him. And the number 16 car currently showing in 11th place. There's our leader, Dylan Pereira, and Larry Tenforder about half a second behind. And then it's Lauren Heinrich and Leon Kohler, the T3 HRT Motorsport cars, dueling over the last of the podium positions. So we race on, looking back at this amazing circuit. Diego Bertinelli with a queue of cars behind him. And he is in 8th position. And he's got Jukka Honkavori a little bit behind into turn 4. And the battle for 3rd place looks like it's hotting up. The T3 HRT teammates running close together and looking back at Leon Kohler's car from the perspective of Lauren Heinrich. And you can see how much curbing Kohler is using as he bounces across these Porsche 911s, quite forgiving over the curbs. And all very, very equal, identical cars, apart from ride height and camber and wing adjustment. So it really is all in the setup. And there's the first 4, very close together. Dylan Pereira, 0.8 of a second over Larry Tenforder. And then Lauren Heinrich, our leading rookie, with Leon Kohler, his teammate, just behind him. And Dylan Pereira, the quickest of anybody in Sector 2 of that last lap, putting in a purple time. So we're looking back at a battle that involves the number 14 car of Jukka Honkavori. And Honkavori getting past. And the view from Diego Bertinelli in the number 9 car. And here is the 81 of Julian Hanses working his way back through the field. He comes past Stefan Raykopf. And that was for 15th place. And now got his eyes on Carlos Rivas in front of him in 14th place. So Raykopf looking at the back of the Hanses car, and you can see their replay from the outside. And Julian Hanses going very wide out of the corner, and Raykopf very nearly taking him back again. Our focus is back to the front of the field. The first 4 pretty close together, then a gap back to Rudy Van Buren, then another gap, and it's Lucas Ertl and Joey Mawson and Jukka Honkavori. And this, the number 28 car of Felix Neuhofer, with Carlos Rivas behind, and Julian Hanses. And Julian Hanses coming back through the field. And Carlos Rivas doing very well in P14, but leading the Pro-Am category. So we've got the Pro-Am mixed in with the Pro drivers, and at the front of them it's Felix Neuhofer. Carlos Rivas goes wide out of the corner, and Carlos Rivas sees a gap on the inside, but it's the number 81 car, Julian Hanses, who moves alongside Carlos Rivas into the corner under braking. Julian Hanses is through, takes the position away with relative ease. So recovering still from that spin earlier on is Julian Hanses, who's now looking at the back of Felix Neuhofer. And there is Felix Neuhofer in that very distinctive car being chased by Julian Hanses for Fork Racing. And of course, it's a Fork Racing car that's in the lead as well. To the inside goes Julian Hanses. Not much of a battle put up there by Neuhofer. And the number 81 car moves forwards yet another position, trying to make up for that spin at the very beginning of the race. You can see that our leader, Dylan Pereira, the teammate to the number 81 car, has stretched his legs at the front to Larry Tenforder. We're looking again at that replay of that. Neuhofer leaving a gap on the inside, and Julian Hanses is through and says, I'll be having that, thank you very much. So Julian Hanses is passed, he's away and gone, moving on up the road. And Jesse Van Kuyp and Stefan Raykopf making a little bit of contact. There's a replay there. So less than 20 minutes left of this race 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. We're looking back at Stefan Raykopf, and that was from the perspective of Carlos Rivas. His main championship contender is in front of him, and Carlos Rivas is at the top of that championship. And we keep an eye on the Pro-Am category as well as the overall race positions. Our leading rookie is still Lauren Heinrich, and he is in P3 as we look back at Stefan Raykopf. And some great perspectives and great camera work there. Felix Neuhofer in the number 28, continuing 14th place. He's got Carlos Rivas behind him. And Carlos Rivas, very, very close indeed. And along the pit straight they come, Carlos Rivas picking up a bit of a slipstream. But Felix Neuhofer, the young rookie, leading that train of cars. And the view from Stefan Raykopf, third in line in that queue. And a long turn 2, which is taken pretty well flat out. And then up a really steep incline up towards turn 3. That's a 12% incline into that corner. And then a really sharp right-hander as they head back downhill again towards turn 4. And in towards turn 4 is an overtaking opportunity, a fairly fast drag downhill, but heavy braking into this corner. And then round into a fairly windy section of the track. So the number 33 is Stefan Raykopf, keeping his main championship contender in sight, but Carlos Rivas disappearing off the road, up the road. There's Rudy Van Buren in the number 57 car, and he is lying in P5. Behind him is Lucas Oertel, and coming under intense pressure from Jukka Honkavori, and the number 9 car of Diego Bertinelli. And we're looking back at Joey Mawson, who's been shown a black and white flag for disrespecting track limits. And we knew that was going to be an issue. He's currently lying in 9th place. And so is Jesse Van Kuyp. Lucas Oertel alongside Jukka Honkavori. And Honkavori coming back along turn 2, looks to the inside, to the outside, under heavy braking into turn 3. And the number 15 car in P6. And Jukka Honkavori trying to take that away from him. So a 6th place battle we're looking at. Honkavori moves to the outside, in towards turn 4, under braking. He's going to be on the outside line. Lucas Oertel has that line into the inside. Honkavori tries to switch back to the inside. Oertel using all of the track, being careful not to exceed the track limits. And Honkavori coming back again. A really good battle between these two for 6th place. So here comes Lucas Oertel. Remember, he's in the car that Tony Wolff would normally be driving. And Jukka Honkavori closer than ever, heading down towards turn 9, side by side. This is an area where they need to be careful not to exceed track limits. And Honkavori is through on the inside, but Ertl coming back at him in towards turn 10 and onto the pit straight. He'll pick up a slipstream, but it's Lucas Ertl who has surrendered that position, not by choice. P6 goes to Jukka Hunkovori up towards turn 1, and then flat out through turn 2. Jago Bertinelli is just behind, and he is now homing in on Lucas Ertl, who's in front of him, and Jukka Hunkovori leading the way there, and behind them is Joey Mawson. So this will soon be a four-way battle for that 6th place. Julian Hansen still working his way through the field after that earlier spin, and he is up into P12 now, having got past Kay van Berlo, and ahead of him is the number 16 car of Dan van Kuijk. So with 15 minutes of the race gone and 15 minutes still to go, we can declare that we are halfway through the season. And this is the exact halfway point. It's Dylan Pereira who's leading the race, and it will be Dylan Pereira who's likely to be somewhere near the top of the points standings if things stay as they are. It's a replay of Jesse van Kuijk and Stefan Raykop swapping positions. And Stefan Raykop is in P16. At least he was until Jesse van Kuijk came through, and that was the view of his car from the perspective of Stefan Raykop. Just to remind you that Raykop is in a different championship. He's competing with Carlos Rivas for the Pro-Am Championship, so he's running 2nd in category, and Matthias Jeserik is running 3rd and 18th on the track, and that's for the Pro-Am category. Our focus back again on the fight for 3rd place. It's Lauren Heinrich and Leon Kohler, the two teammates, and Leon Kohler, who had that awful moment getting off the grid yesterday, was so lucky not to be collected, but then came back through the field like an absolute steam train. He really was a man on a mission. He's currently lying 3rd in the points championship, and he really would dearly love to get past Larry Tenforder in front of him. There's another fight for position. The number 10 car of Matthias Jeserik, and the number 8 of Georgi Donchev. So that is at the very back of the field. Matthias Jeserik narrowed down into P19, and Georgi Donchev going up to the final podium position for the Pro-Am category. We're looking at Matthias Jeserik, and you can see the concentration in the Cartech Motorsport by Nigrin Porsche, under braking, keeping control of that 485 brake horsepower in these cold conditions, with the tyres surrendering grip at every opportunity. Really hard work to keep it pointing in the right direction and within the track limits. And in towards turn 9, the corner that seems to have courted most of the controversy throughout this weekend. On board with Matthias Jeserik in 19th place, and you can see in front of him under braking coming up into turn 1, and there's Julian Hanses in P11 with Dan van Kuijk behind. Now, tyre degradation is an issue. Dan van Kuijk has been shown a black and white flag for exceeding track limits. It's just a warning, but the stewards are watching him. Tyre degradation can be an issue here at the Red Bull Ring. Maybe not so much in the colder conditions, but looking after the tyres has been an issue, and that's what has tripped Larry Tenforder up a couple of times, going too hard too soon. And the number 81 car, having had that spin earlier on, is now coming under pressure from Dan van Kuijk, and you do wonder whether he's taken just a little bit too much out of his tyres, as also Kay van Berlo behind is closing in on them. There's Jago Bertinelli and Joey Mawson. Bertinelli is 2nd in the rookie standings in this race. Lauren Heinrich in 3rd, obviously, is the first rookie, but he's got Joey Mawson for company just behind, and the two teammates for FAC Autotech are running together on the track, and Joey Mawson becoming a very experienced pilot in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Up towards turn 3 we come, and still fighting for positions all the way down the fields. That's Jesse Van Kooyk and Felix Neuhofer going side by side. And Felix Neuhofer in P14, trying to hold on to that position, but Van Kooyk coming through, locking a brake. Felix Neuhofer into the corner, and that allows Van Kooyk to stretch his legs a bit, and now Neuhofer is falling into the clutches of the leading Pro-Am driver, which is Carlos Rivas. So there's Jesse Van Kooyk and Felix Neuhofer in that very distinctive bright yellow car. And there's our leader, Dylan Pereira, 2.027 seconds ahead of Larry Tenforder. Seemingly got this race under control with 2/3 of the race gone. And the battle for third position rages on between teammates Lauren Heinrich and Leon Kohler. The heat haze on the hill is very deceptive because it is very cold here at the Red Bull Ring as we look at Dan Van Kooyk in the number 16 car. He's in 12th place. He's got Kay Van Berlo for company in the nebulous Racing by Huber Porsche. And another lap up towards turn 3 as our leader second. And this battle for third. Has Leon Kohler got anything that he can give to Lauren Heinrich to get on the podium? Lauren Heinrich, third place is where he finished yesterday. So the 1, 2, 3 is exactly as they finished yesterday, but Leon Kohler wants to mess that statistic up as he looks to the outside into turn 4, ducks back to take a look on the inside. Can't really get past there, but he is tucked up very close behind, trying to force Heinrich into making a mistake, flashing the lights, trying to distract him. Here he comes again, Leon Kohler and Heinrich. This is quite a battle for the last of the podium positions. Leon Kohler looking to undo some of the damage from yesterday and looking to get his championship challenge back on track. And Larry Tenforder falling back a little bit into the clutches of Lauren Heinrich. So 0.8 of a second is the gap. And Dylan Pereira stretching his legs, 2.4 seconds. So it looks as though Larry Tenforder has either made a mistake or once again he's got issues with the tyres. And Larry Tenforder must lie awake at night sweating about this, because at the start of last year it looked like he was going to have the championship sewn up and signed, sealed and delivered before the end of the year, and then it all went a bit wrong and he ended up finishing third as the 81 car of Julian Hanses picks off another position as he works his way back through the field. But Larry Tenforder has not finished anything less than second place in any race this year, and he really wants to get back up into the lead and undo the advance of Dylan Pereira, the driver who's leading this race. But as you can see, Lauren Heinrich and Leon Kohler are closing in on him just a little bit. So it's Dylan Pereira who leads the way, over 2 seconds now. And we have about 7 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. Our leader is Dylan Pereira, 2.4 seconds ahead of Larry Tenforder. Out of turn 10 they come again to complete another lap. And across the start-finish line, there's our leader going up the hill towards turn 1. And a gap, 2.7 seconds. So Dylan Pereira is pulling away, or Larry Tenforder is dropping back. The gap of 0.822 seconds is a fairly constant between Larry Tenforder and Lauren Heinrich up towards turn 3. So twice this year we've seen Larry Tenforder leading this race, and then the tyres going off and falling into the clutches of Dylan Pereira. The number 16 car has picked up a 5-second time penalty after the race, and I think that'll be for disrespecting track limits. The number 16 car is Dan Van Koyk. He's down in P12 at the moment, and a 5-second penalty will be applied to him after the race. And a black and white flag for car 25, that's Larry Tenforder, for disrespecting track limits. So the stewards very much on the ball in terms of track limits here at the Red Bull Ring. Every year we seem to have the same issue that pops up. It's a track that encourages drivers to use a little bit more of the circuit than they're meant to. And the stewards really trying to get on top of that this year. Lauren Heinrich, once again, with Leon Kohler filling his mirrors. Kohler's got 5.5 minutes to work a way to get past his teammate. At the moment, looking back from P3 towards P4. It's Dylan Pereira who crosses the line, 3.2 seconds ahead of Larry Tenforder, so he's stretching his legs. And Lauren Heinrich has closed in on Larry Tenforder a couple of tenths of a second. So 0.65 is now the gap between second and third. And Larry Tenforder is going to be working very hard to hold on to that second place before too long. Leon Kohler can see this all unfolding in front of him. And if Lauren Heinrich makes a move on second place, this could be the opportunity that Leon Kohler needs to sneak past and take the position away from both of them. Another 5-second time penalty has been awarded, this time to Jesse Van Koyk, again for exceeding track limits, and that'll be applied after the race. And Van Koyk is down in 14th place at the moment. The stewards giving very much a 3 strikes and you're out mentality. So the first time exceeding track limits, nothing much. The second time a warning, third time a penalty. And we're seeing as this race gets into the closing stages, several drivers that are picking up penalties. And there are the T3 HRT cars picking up the gravel as they go across the curbing, using as much of the track as they possibly can. Under braking, Leon Kohler gets it all wrong going into the corner. He locks up, you see the car snaking, and now he drops a long way back. So Leon Kohler getting very close to Lauren Heinrich in P3, but gets it completely wrong going into turn 9, and snakes under braking and drops back, and again he's locking up into the corner. So it's all falling apart for Leon Kohler. You can see him going very wide in turn 1. He's dropping back, and Rudy Van Buren is showing us 12 seconds behind, so he's got a bit of room. But you can see here they go across the gravel initially, heading up towards that turn, and then here under braking you see the back end snaking. You see Leon Kohler trying to correct the steering wheel. He goes very wide into the corner. That's turn 9 that they're heading around, and drops back, and Lauren Heinrich is able to pull clear, and that may well be the thing that secures him that final podium position. There you can see again Leon Kohler getting it all wrong as they head in towards turn 9. And then again in turn 1, and that would have seriously flat spotted that right front tyre. And that car will be vibrating like mad after that lock-up into turn 1. Our leader, Dylan Pereira, 3.5 seconds ahead of Larry Tenforder. And then Lauren Heinrich in P3, 0.8 of a second behind. So the first 3 well clear of Leon Kohler now, and you can see how far back he is. So Lauren Heinrich has been closing in on Larry Tenforder, and is showing as about just over a second behind, but with less than 2 minutes this race remaining, he's going to have his work cut out to get past. Another 5-second time penalty has been awarded, this time for Joey Mawson and the number 96 car. He's in P7, and he's going to get a 5-second penalty after this race is finished. And again, that is for exceeding track limits. We're in to the last 90 seconds, plus 1 lap of this race, and you can see position still changing, and that is the number 9, Jago Bertinelli, having a little look on the inside of Lucas Erthel. And the Fork Racing team looking on at their driver who's leading the way. We haven't seen much of him because he's pretty well disappeared from the front. And there's his teammate, the number 81 of Julian Hanses, after that spin earlier on in the race, and is now down in 10th position. So into the final minute. And you can see how much of the track Joey Mawson is using. And he's already got that 5-second time penalty. That could be increased if he continues to exceed track limits. As again, the number 81 car of Julian Hanses continues to hone in on Diego Bertinelli. So looking back from Diego Bertinelli at Julian Hanses and on to the pit straight. Our leader is Dylan Pereira, nearly 4 seconds over Larry Tenforder. And he's got about 1.1 seconds over Lauren Heinrich. So the 1-2-3 looking like remaining the same as the 1-2-3 in race 1, which was yesterday. And there's the number 57 and the number 14 going together. Jukka Honkavori in the number 14 car, of course. And Rudy Van Buren running side by side, still positions to be picked off. And Rudy Van Buren has the line into the corner. Honkavori trying to make it stick on the outside, breaks a bit later. And Honkavori has to concede that position. So that is quite a battle that's going on behind, and that is for P5, and they have closed right in on Leon Kohler. Of course, those mistakes from Leon Kohler having dropped him back into the clutches of the battle for 5th place. Kohler still in 4th. His car will no doubt have all sorts of issues as a result of those lockups. We're on to the final lap for Dylan Pereira. He's got this one very much signed, sealed and delivered, as long as he can just keep it on the track. And there are no mechanical issues. And Larry Tenforder, well clear now of Lauren Heinrich in P3. And you can see the black and white flag being shown to the number 28 car, Felix Neuhofer, again for disrespecting track limits. And onto the pit straight they come for the last of the racing laps. There's our leader. He's a long way ahead at the moment. It's Dylan Pereira in the closing stages of this race. He stepped off pole position, well, off the front row, and he jumped Lauren Heinrich, who was on pole position, and got through into the lead in the first corner and hasn't looked back since. Now leading the way, 4.2 seconds ahead of Larry Tenforder. This is going to close the championship right up. And Larry Tenforder will see the lead that he has whittled away because Dylan Pereira is in the final few corners. His team look on as Dylan Pereira comes around in towards turn 9. And very shortly, he will be rounding turn 10. So into turn 9 he comes here, and now in towards turn 10, onto the pit straight. He can see the checkered flag in front of him. The checkered flag waves. It's Dylan Pereira who wins race 2 for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at the Red Bull Ring. Second across the line, Larry Tenforder. Third, Lauren Heinrich. And then we look back, and it's Jukka Honkavori who's jumped through into 4th place, as Leon Kohler, with all sorts of issues, has dropped back into P6, which is going to wait for confirmation of that as they cross the line. Jukka Honkavori and Rudy Van Buren. And across the line they come. And in fact, Joey Mawson and Lucas Ertel. So Leon Kohler with all sorts of issues as a result of that lockup, crossing the line way back. In fact, he hasn't even crossed the line yet, so he's showing down in 11th place. Leon Kohler, after that challenge for the final podium positions, finally crossing the line in 11th place and all sorts of problems. And in fact, he's parked up at the side of the track, so Leon Kohler is stationary. He gets out of the car and walks away, not entirely sure what has happened there. He had that big moment when he was challenging for 3rd place, and now he's stationary on the pit straight. And he walks away from the car disconsolately and back into the pit lane. Our 1, 2, 3 is Dylan Pereira from Larry Tenvorder and Lauren Heinrich. So on that last lap, it was Leon Kohler who had all sorts of issues. He did get across the line, as you can see, just, and he has classed as 11th. And you can see here, he pulls over to the side, having crossed the line. Clearly carrying a major problem. So drama for Leon Kohler on the final lap of this race. Our leading rookie was Lauren Heinrich, who finishes 3rd overall, and our leading Pro-Am driver, Carlos Rivas, who finishes in 14th place. Second of the Pro-Am was Stefan Raykop, who finished 17th, and third, Georgi Donchev, who finished in P18. There's the classification, subject to confirmation. Don't forget, there are time penalties being applied as well. But it's Dylan Pereira, Larry Tenvorder, and Lauren Heinrich, the 1, 2, 3. So the rest of the field comes scrolling through, and you can see Carlos Rivas there, the leading of the Pro-Am drivers, as he continues to stretch his lead at the top of the Pro-Am Championship. Coming into this race, it was a 31-point lead for Carlos Rivas, and he will have extended that significantly. And the leader of this race, and soon to be the leader of the points championship, Dylan Pereira, jumps out of the car. Larry Tenvorder continues his record of not finishing below 2nd place this season, but despite that, sees his championship lead eaten away. It was 6 points coming into this race. And Dylan Pereira taking chunks out of that championship lead with every race at the moment. Lauren Heinrich, once again, a podium position. And the third place for Lauren Heinrich in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany this year. The young talent pool driver being nurtured by Porsche. So there's a slow-mo for T3 HRT Motorsport. Lauren Heinrich. In 2nd place for Nebulous Racing by Huber, Larry Tenvorder. And leading the way for Fork Racing, it's from Luxembourg, Dylan Pereira. So as you can see, the sun is coming out here at the Red Bull Ring, and fortunately the rain that started off at the beginning of this weekend, Thursday and Friday, were really wet. Seems to have moved on, and the chance of showers are very low. And don't forget, we still have one more race for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, and that'll be rounding off the proceedings at the end of the day today. And that'll be interesting in itself. We had a race yesterday afternoon at the end of the event, and the light was very low, and the drivers were struggling with the sun in their eyes as they came up towards turn 1. And the Porsche Carrera Cup Race 3 will be taking place at a fairly similar time this afternoon. So it'll be getting dark, and visibility will be an issue for some of these drivers. There you can see the point standings. Larry Tenvorder holding on by 1 point. Leon Kohler dropping back now, 54 points off the lead, but it couldn't be closer at the top, could it? And Lauren Heinrich has closed up in P4 in the points, equal with Julian Hanses. So both of them 60 points off the lead, and Joey Mawson and Rudy Van Buren ahead of Jago Bertinelli. Here come the rest of the point standings, but it really couldn't be closer at the top of the points. And Larry Tenvorder will be looking to try and extend that gap. It looked like he was going to have this championship sewn up well before the end of the season, as it did last year. But as with last year, his main challengers seem to be coming up to speed as the season progresses. And suddenly, he's feeling the heat as they close in on him. Larry Tenforder started the year off winning that race at Le Mans, supporting the 24-hour race. And then a second place at Sachsenring, followed by a win at Sachsenring, and then another second place, and then a second place yesterday, and another second place today. And you'd think with that kind of record that he'd be at the top of the points standings. But Dylan Pereira is the first driver with 4 wins. And had it not been for a poor race at Le Mans, where he finished 7th, he may well have been well clear at the top of the standings by now. So there's the socially distant podium. Schumacher Selection Champagne, the project of ex-driver Ralf Schumacher from his vineyards, will be used for celebrations shortly. And good to welcome a crowd here. The local authorities have allowed 3,000 spectators a day as we see the top 3 climbing onto the podium. And on the top step, it's Dylan Pereira, Larry Tenforder in second, Lauren Heinrich in third, and a representative from Falk Motor Racing. And we're ready for the national anthem. So with the national anthem done, we don't have trophy presentations in this day and age. It's more a case of picking up the trophy. And Lauren Heinrich gets a trophy for 3rd place, but he's also the leading rookie. Larry Tenforder in 2nd place. And our winner, race 2 and race 6 of the season, is Dylan Pereira. So now for the celebrations, and very, very shortly, we will be dusting ourselves off, and we will be back here again later on this afternoon for race 3 in these unusual times. 3 races in a weekend for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And race 3 will be here at the Red Bull Ring this afternoon. And can Dylan Pereira make it 3 out of 3 here? Only one way to find out. Come and join us. We'll be here later this afternoon, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.